A fate we can escape till death do us part in the end. What's up, guys? Ryan here from Elixir with my
Mic
good
on.
pal, Jack of all trades, Kieran.
Yo.
We're bringing you episode number 3 of the Elixir Podcast. Today we're breaking down the album Dead Silence by a band that is maybe a little underrated, a little low key, but by Billy Talent, a band that despite all of that, Kieran and I love.
Oh,
And maybe it's because they're Canadian.
I
just,
don't
you know,
I don't think it's cause they're Canadian. I just think that's an extra, like it's the cherry on top, right? Um. So I think we should do it's hard to me because like Lonely Road to Absolution and Viking Death March, like they could be considered one song, but they're also like Viking Death March is also really good on its own. So I don't know I don't know how you want to go about that.
Yeah, so I would say Lonely Road to Absolution is not an intro. It is a song. The song serves as a bit of an intro, but I don't necessarily have to listen to 1 and 2 to get the full essence of what's going on. It's not like that episode that we did on Meteora with the 1 and 2. So why don't we just consider Lonely Road to Absolution one song?
All right, well, it'll be short. I think it's a great intro to the album. Very weird, but I
Absolutely.
honestly really enjoy it. I think it opens up the
Yeah.
album well, and like it flows perfectly into Viking Death March. Not too much to say about it though.
The one thing I would say from a vocal perspective is the harmonies that Ben, their lead singer, and Ian, their backing singer and only guitarist, do is basically a flex, in my opinion. As in, they do harmonies in almost every song, most of them being elite, but this song is almost entirely harmonic and it's just perfect, really. Like a flex, a showing off of like, hey, what's up? We're from Canada, and this is what we can do.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely wouldn't put it in my top 3 or anything
Oh
psychotic like that.
no, no. So Viking Death
Viking Death
March.
March, however, um, definitely a top 3 song. Probably a top 3 overall Billy Talent song for me. I mean, name me a catchier rock riff. I'll
I
wait.
mean, name you a catchier rock riff, bro. That's throwing it out there. That is throwing it out there. I'm
Well,
gonna,
well, go for it.
all right, I'm gonna just throw out there Black Dog. I think that's what it's called. Led Zeppelin. Like you, because you said rock, right? So like
Yeah,
you're throwing
sure.
it up there against like every single rock song out
And you know
there.
what? It's maybe a bold take. It's maybe a spicy Dorito take, but it's one that I'm gonna stand behind. I don't think. I don't. I don't know. It's catchy. It's punchy. It's wow.
Like
Just
you'll maybe
wow.
have a case for hard rock,
Okay.
but I don't know about rock in general. There are some incredibly catchy rock riffs.
All right. So why don't I just save my own ass? Say Viking Death March has the catchiest, if not one of the most catchiest, hard rock / punk rock riffs. And let's just move on to number 3.
I don't know.
Surprise, surprise. Is it a surprise? Is it? And is surprise, surprise in your top 3? Can you make the case?
Looking at the rest of the songs on the album, I know 2 already in my top 3, and I think I could make the case for surprise, surprise. Um, it's one of those songs where the classic Billy Talent, where they actually say something with their songs, right?
Yeah.
It's just they're um I don't want to say anti-capitalist, but they're at least their judgmental view of capitalism.
Yeah, and corporations in general and how they use you as the hard worker, right? The hard
Yeah.
worker is used. That's basically the theme out of this song. And I I support it, man. I think it's special to have that skill to take an issue that affects most of society and then just make a song out of it. I think it
Yeah.
adds to it's the Billy Talent angst, like you said. It's plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And other than that, like the riffs are banging, the
Yeah,
chorus, the vocals are banging. It's just a banging track.
I'll get right into song 4 here. Running across the tracks. Uh, running into my top 3, I think so. I mean, this
Really?
is it just it punches. I think from beginning to end. I think it never lets up that punchy vibe. And I always say that I think Dead Silence is Billy Talent's heaviest album, and I
Definitely
think
their heaviest album.
this song definitely showcases that heaviness. It's different, in my opinion, from a lot of the other songs that are somewhat heavy. And when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is an absolutely incredible song.
Yeah.
Um, because of especially how high Ben sings throughout all of the song. And I remember when I saw them do it live, I was like, wow, that's crazy that he can replicate that, almost note for note live.
Yeah, I'm running across the tracks in my head, and I'm like, listen, it doesn't like it goes hard, but like it's not the most upbeat song on the album. Like there are songs to me on this album that like hit a lot harder and that what running across the tracks goes for, but better in my
Yeah.
opinion.
All right.
Like Viking Death March definitely has like a similar goal in mind musically, in my opinion, but like it does it better, right? Um,
Yeah. I
I'd
hear you.
also put Man Alive as more of an upbeat, harder hit song than that. Even Surprise Surprise I'd put above as terms of like a harder song.
Fair, fair. All right. Well. Before jumping into Man Alive at number 8, what about Love Was Still Around? What do you feel of that song at
Honestly,
number 5 on this album?
it's very similar to me, like in feel as Running Across the Tracks.
I agree.
Um, Definitely starts a little abruptly.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
that I've always noticed about the song. Like usually Billy Talent is very good at setting up intros, right? Surprise, surprise has that classic just guitar riff to open it up. Viking Death March, the
Right.
same thing. Love Was Still Around kind of just starts.
Yeah. Very almost like there was a section missing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, and
Definitely agree.
it's a good song. It doesn't quite do it for me.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. I don't really have much to add on it. I think it's one of those songs that is good. It's definitely not a skip, but definitely not one that I'll rush to go listen to on the album. So let's move it to song 6, which is
Speaking of
disclaimer, Kieran's
skips,
favorite. Yeah,
um,
yeah. Kieran's got beef. When he hears "Stand Up and Run," he stands up and runs into oncoming traffic. It's
yeah, I really don't like this song, and like, eh, it's a song that they wrote to play on the radio, right? At least to the radio stations that
absolutely,
I listened to
yeah,
back when this album was newer, at least, this is the
yeah,
song that got radio play, and so it's
right,
definitely you look at it, and for Billy Talent, it's a very simple song,
absolutely.
structurally, and musically, like it's not a bad song musically. It's not my favorite from them, and the sound that they were going for is a little weirder. But what really puts me off is Ben's vocals on this one.
Really,
They fall flat for me.
okay.
They're like usually his high pitched whine works, but in this kind of like radio friendly, more pop song,
Hmm.
the voice kind of clashes with the vibe of the song for me. While usually his voice is like works better with the vibes that they go for, the vibes that they write in. And it's
Hmm.
not even that the guitar parts are simple. Like you could look at them and like they still got Ian DeSaw's freaking weird chords that he always loves to pull out. It's
Right.
just everything about the song is, to me, it's stripped down Billy Talent.
Interesting take, definitely an interesting one. So let's just move on to Crooked Minds, which is phenomenal. I think we both share that view. Unlike Stand Up and Run, Crooked Minds is just wow.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. And you know what? What's funny about it is, I believe it starts like Love Was Still Around, just hitting you with vocals, but they do it in a way that works better, right?
Yeah, yeah. Crooked Minds to me definitely above Running Across the Tracks. Still not on my top 3 though. It's a very good
Oh,
song. I love Crooked Minds, but it's that I once again I go for the weird ones on this album.
that's fine. That's fine. So okay, so if it's not in your top three, let's not, let's just brush over it, because it's definitely not in my top three either. Good song, but let's brush over it. Let's go to Man Alive, which you said before was definitely in your top three. Why?
Oh, I just love Man Alive. Like Man Alive to me is like it's kind of like the middle ground between Dead Silence and Billy Talent 3 for me. It's, if I'm remembering correctly, probably their most punk song on the album, but while still capturing kind of like that hard rock, slight metal feel that the album gets.
Yeah,
Um, Ian's vocals on this one, they're very weird. That you either love his vocals or you hate his vocals on this song, I feel,
for
because
for any
they're
song
even
really.
higher, they're even more like grating than they usually are. But in
Yeah,
this case, I think it really works for the song. It's just a high energy song and I absolutely love it.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely an opinion that I share. Um, like you said, that perfect blend of, hard rock meets metal meets punk. Good bridge. I've never actually thought about it as a bridge between album three and this one, but a very good point nonetheless. Hanging by a thread. Oof. I'm not sure about this one. I don't dislike any Billy Talent song. I just think I'd have to put this one as a back burner of the album for
Really,
me. It's
see, like this is my half of the album. I once again I definitely put this above above Running Across the Tracks. It's just this one. It kind of slows down from Man Alive, so I think it's put in a really good place. Um, I love the feel of the song,
okay.
and it's kind of like it's kind of sad. It's kind of dark as
Yeah.
compared to like the rest of the album. Like the first half is generally a little more upbeat.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why I don't like it, is because the theme is dark, and it's like the theme makes you feel hopeless, but the song doesn't kind of hit you with that same vibe. But opinions are opinions, and
Still not on my top 3 though, but I never skip this song. In fact,
all right.
I don't skip most of the songs in this album, just Stand Up and Run.
All right. Well, then, with that being said, why don't we go to song 10, Cure for the Enemy? Um, Absolutely in my top three. I
Cure.
think I've said that about maybe four songs now, so I'm gonna have to remove one. And I know that there's at least one more coming. But Cure for the Enemy is a masterpiece of a song, beginning to end, through transition, sort of every component of this song hits. It slaps.
Yeah.
What can you add to
Okay,
that?
Cure for the
Anything?
Enemy is my favorite song on the album, hands down.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to like I was saying, like Hang by a Thread had like that dark, kind of like a melancholy vibe. If you weren't
Yeah.
feeling that in Hanging by a Thread, you definitely feel here. Like Cure for the Enemy, it barely feels like a Billy Talent song. The direction they took on this song is out of left field for them. It's so
Absolutely.
dark. It's very slow for Billy Talent. Um,
Yeah.
but the rhythm is interesting, the grooves are interesting, the vocals are absolutely incredible. I love the chorus with the back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, and just like the
Yeah.
dark atmosphere that this song just creates. It gets me every
It's
time.
it's a great point you made. It's like hanging by a thread sets
Mic
up
off.
this song, and I think their artistic choice to put it 9-10 like that. Kudos to them for doing that. I think that's a really really cool thing they did.
Mic
Cure
on.
for the Enemy, definitely a top 3 song. What about this next one? Don't Count on the Wicked.
I
Low key,
love it.
fire and low key. What do you think?
I love Don't Count on the Wicked. That is also definitely one of my top three.
Yeah, you're such a back half album guy.
I am
I
a
think
back. I
this
like
is the
the
third
low key
episode we
songs.
do. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, just crazy. I
Um,
think Don't Count on the Wicked is great. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, but I think again, like I mentioned for Lonely Road to Absolution, I think after that song on this album, Don't Count on the Wicked's got some of the best harmonies, the most poignant and sort of like these harmonies to anyone who enjoys that kind of sound. It's almost like they're stabbing you, but in the best way possible.
uh, I just feel I don't know what I can say to explain why I love this song so much. Just the whole vibe, like you go from the down, depressed depths of Cure from the
Yeah,
Enemy, Cure
yeah,
for the Enemy, and you just hit to this song, and it goes right back into that hard hitting Billy Talent that we know and love.
yeah.
It's really reminiscent of the vibe that the Love Was Still Around and Running Across the Tracks are getting, but better in my opinion. And
You're right. You're right.
I love thematically the lyrics to this song a lot.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely share that exact same view with you. All right. What about Show Me the Way, number 12? You know what? Before I asked you that, so you could initiate. Like I initiated you starting, but I'm just gonna take over and say, um, with Stand Up and Run, you stand up and run into oncoming traffic. Well, with this one, I say, Show Me the Way of the Door because I'm out of here. It's bad. Well, it's not bad. It's not bad. No Billy Talent song is bad. It's just it's song 14 out of 14 for me. Probably the only Billy Talent song that I even consider skipping.
Yeah, to me, it's in a very similar vein of Stand Up and Run. They're very similar songs. Um, it's just
Yeah,
for the type of like they went for a little more of like a pop rock, little more mainstream radio friendly vibe on this one. And once again, his
right.
vocals, there's a huge mismatch between like Ben's vocals and the feel of the song. I don't feel that they work together. He's whiny in a great way, but it doesn't work with the song.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. This one would definitely be like top 3 worst on this album for me, if not the worst. What about song 13? If you want to move on, Swallowed Up by the Ocean.
See,
Yay
Swallowed
or
Up by
nay?
the Ocean, I don't love it, but I think it's what Stand Up and Run and Show Me the Way, like, it's the best version of those two,
Yeah,
because it's still that kind of more radio friendly, kind of pop rock vibe, but
right.
the song itself is a little more like the rest of the album. It's not quite as happy
It's
as the
so
other two
dark.
sound,
It's
and
yeah.
his vocals fit a
I'm just gonna
lot better.
say like right, and I think they fit like that in a similar way that on Cure for the Enemy. Like I think Cure for the Enemy and Swallowed Up by the Ocean are probably the darkest sounding songs on this album, and I just think Ben nailed the vocals for that kind of theme. Um, yeah, this song, like if this song doesn't make you sad, and if you can't hear the darkness out of this song, you got issues. You got issues.
All right, and that leaves Dead Silence dead last.
Is it dead last in your heart as
No,
well?
no,
Do
no.
you put that one?
I was
No.
trying to make a pun. It didn't work out.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna blow right past it.
Pretend it never existed. erase the last 15 seconds of this podcast.
All right, so we're gonna start with Dead Silence.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think personally, Dead Silence. I'm gonna have to, actually take a moment. The other two albums we did, very easy to kind of conjure up a top three. For me, I got five right now that I'm kind of torn on, and Dead Silence I think acts as a number six. So I'm gonna have to go from six down to three. Which is whatever.
That's cheating. That's cheating. You gotta pick three.
I'm definitely gonna pick three, but what I'm saying is I could, any of the six that I'm thinking of right now could be in my top three, which wasn't the case.
Yeah. No honorable mentions. That's a cop out.
Right. Dead Silence is great. Dead Silence, I think, is the best ending song of any Billy Talent album. And I think if Dead Silence does anything right, it takes all the sounds from tracks 1 to 13, every poignant and catchy element about them, and puts them into one song. Whether it's harmonies, the riffs, the beats, the transitions, like everything that is great into one song. I think that's Dead Silence for me.
I just don't like the chorus.
That's the part that goes Dead Silence.
Yeah,
has come to rescue me. Do you not like it because of how sort of fall offish it is from the verses?
Yeah, and it's just like the vocals for it are kind of weird. Like how he says dead and then silence. It just like he goes like super high on the dead and then just drops down. It doesn't do it for me. I don't
know. All right, fair enough. You can't agree on everything, but I agree that you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so with that being said, why don't you kick us off, since you might have a bit of an easier time with putting together a top three for this album. Let's hear it. 1 to 3.
I'll start from number 3 this time. I know I said it was.
He's changing it up.
Yeah, he's changing it up. So I know I said surprise were probably in it, but upon further inspection, like I can't leave Viking Death March out of my top 3. It's just an incredible song. It hits hard. It slaps. It is a great opener to the album, and it is a great single. So number 3, Viking Death March. Number 2,
nice.
Don't Count on the Wicked. And number 1, Cure for the Enemy.
That's fair. Mike off. Definitely. I'm gonna match. No, actually, you know what?
Mike on.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. I'm just looking at these song titles here.
1. All right, time's up.
All right, 6. So at number 3, I'm gonna put down Dead Silence. Like I said, I think it captures every little piece from the whole album that I like, and kind of puts it into one song.
Mike off.
At number 2, I'm gonna go Cure for the Enemy, and then at number 1, Viking Death March. Yeah, like I said before, I think Viking Death March is probably my second favorite Billy Talent song overall after Saint Veronica. So that's a no-brainer for number 1. And I think that's it. So very similar top 3s, just slightly different.
All right. That just I kind of thought about this, and I just wanted to throw in a hot take at the end here. So we're gonna go on to Billy Talent's next album. Just quick, fast. Afraid of Heights. Which version is better, the original or the reprise? I'm a reprise guy myself. I like the slowed down version. I love the piano intro.
Reprise is absolutely... you know what? I can't even say it's better, because I think they're both equally as good. I just prefer the reprise.
Really, but...
Right. They're done a bit differently, but I do prefer, like you, the reprise. I think there's... the ending section of Afraid of Heights reprise is better, I think, than the original. But the original plays on the radio all the time, so.
All right.
To each their own.
That was an extra hot take in case you were wondering.
Bonus Billy Talent take. All right, so that wraps it up for episode 3 of the Elixir Podcast. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to invite your friends out to subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell to get notified for future videos. And again, drop a comment. Write us if you agree with our takes, if you disagree, if you think we're idiots, if you think we're cool or not cool, so we know you'd be lying. And most definitely leave a comment for an album that you want us to review like this, to kind of break down and go through a top 3. See you next time.